Hey, my name is Danae, and today I want to talk with you about food addiction and how it relates to childhood sexual trauma. Now, let's say you're listening to me and you're like, hey, Danae, I was not sexually abused as a child, but I was beaten, or I watched my mom get beaten by my dad, or I was criticized a lot, verbally abused. All of these things are traumas. They're childhood traumas. They're life traumas. They cause what we call PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. When we experience these things in as it translates into adulthood, we often look for ways to numb the pain, ways to comfort ourselves. It's not something usually that we've dealt with. We have put our trauma on the shelf in a little box, and we put it up there, and we said, okay, I'm too young to deal with this. I'm too young to understand the consequences. What I'm going to do is just store that over there for now and move on with life, learn what I need to learn, survive, develop as a human being. Many of us, though, we put it on the shelf. The pain is still there, the hurt is still there, the trauma, we still feel it. We still have anxiety. We still struggle, but we don't know why. We're too young to understand why. So we medicate it. We subconsciously medicate it. Oftentimes in childhood, it is food. Sometimes you avoid food altogether and you don't have that connection to your trauma that you've put on the shelf over there until you're an adult. And thus begins your unhealthy relationship with food, or thus begins your addiction. Now, when I say addiction, you think drugs and alcohol because, hello, everyone knows those are addictive substances. The interesting part is that it's not just drugs and alcohol that alter your brain. It's not just drugs and alcohol that give you a high. Food definitely gives you a high, namely sugar, or the things that your body quickly breaks down into sugar. Those all give you that feel-good high, the release of dopamine. It all trains your brain, just like drugs and alcohol, to release the feel-goods. So your brain lights up with a happiness. And it numbs the pain we're feeling. The more, just like alcohol, just like drugs, the more we use, the more dull our reaction is to it, and the more that we need. So we continue to eat. We eat more. If you're an alcoholic, you drink more. If you're a drug addict, you take a stronger dose. All these things are addiction. What's hard for me though is that in the world of addiction, you also have sex addiction and you have gambling as an addiction, and those two things get talked about way more than food. My personal opinion is the reason that they are more acceptable addictions is because everybody eats. Like, you can't get away from food. Everywhere you go, there's food, there's foodies, there's food blogs, there's fancy restaurants, there's Pinterest. Oh my God, Pinterest and food. Food is socially acceptable 100%. Now, you go to a Christmas party and you say, as an alcoholic, let's say, you go to a Christmas party and you say, oh, no, I don't drink, I'm an alcoholic. And they'll be like, oh God, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. Oh God, I'm so sorry. Congratulations, man, what you're doing. God, that's so awesome. Now say I go to a party as a food addict, or even into my parents' home, or sometimes even my own home, and I say, no, I'm sorry, I can't eat that. I have a food addiction. And they go, oh honey, really? Food addiction? Don't you mean you're just trying to lose weight? And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, just trying to lose weight. It's a very defeating thing. Or you hear, oh, you don't need to lose weight. You look good the way you are. Curves are in. And I say, don't I know it? And I think that curves are beautiful. I don't mind my body. I actually love myself right where I'm at. What I do mind, though, is that while I am 29 years old and have no medical health issues whatsoever, I can tell that that's not something that I'm going to get to keep up. I can tell in 10 years, while I might not be pre-diabetic now, how long can my body hold up under the weight? How long can my bones? How long can my joints? That cartilage, the fluid. I mean, how much pressure am I putting on myself to maintain 320 pounds that I am? It's a lot. It's a lot more than my body needs to be carrying around with me. So if you're talking about 180, 190, curves are beautiful, 200 even. I mean, you are active, you are athletic, your body holds up well under the weight. Everybody is different. Celebrate your curves. Love them. I love mine. My husband loves mine. I don't ever want my kids to be ashamed of mine, but I do want to show them what healthy looks like. And right now, where I'm at, it's not healthy. As a food addict, I'm not in control. I am a slave to food. I'm a slave to sugar. I think about food all the time. There have been times in my life where I have chosen to eat myself over having my children eat, or I've chosen the better food and given them, snacks here and there, or I will eat their food while they're eating it. I mean, God, it's fucking awful. And things that you don't ever want to admit. But I mean, even as little as when I make my husband and I a plate of dinner, I choose a bigger plate. Or if there's a half that's bigger than the other, I'm like, oh, I'm bigger. I need more to sustain myself. I'll take the bigger half. I'll take more. Which is so incredibly, incredibly wrong and bad. I have tried every diet and fad under the sun. I have paid countless dollars. I have seen nutritionists. I started seeing them when I was 11 years old, mind you. I've seen nutritionists. I've done LA weight loss. That came and went. I don't even know what happened to them, but they sure as hell took my money. I have tried Medifast. I have tried carb-free. I have tried high carb. I have tried exercising till I vomit every day. I have tried binge eating, and I have tried throwing up after, and I have tried becoming anorexic. I was not super good at it. I have also tried Weight Watchers and point-based food programs, and it doesn't matter what I do, I always fall back into my own routine. I will lose weight for a short time, but it doesn't stick. I cannot moderate. I have to give it up. Not food as a whole, but my trigger foods are sugar, flour, and foods that turn into sugar quickly. So white potatoes, also processed food. Like any processed food ever has sugar in it. You go to McDonald's and get a hamburger, sugar, and so much insoluble fat, it's ridiculous. So I don't eat a lot of processed foods. You would think that I did, being the size that I am, but no, I just eat a shit ton of food. Anyway, I digress. I am all over the place right now. So let's get into sexual abuse and childhood trauma. I was sexually abused when I was 4 years old by my male babysitter. It was really, really shitty. My parents didn't know what to do about it or how to handle that. So they kind of pushed it under the rug and hoped for the best. They weren't sure the extent of the abuse, and so they had hoped that it was quite minimal and that I would be fine. I didn't show any warning signs. I didn't act out. I was an awesome, intelligent, sweet little child. I just turned to food. That's what happened. So even though I was active, I played soccer, was obsessed with the sports. I was totally one of the guys. Even though I was active physically, I still was gaining weight. I was sneaking food. I was eating, more than my body needed to sustain itself. And I realized that it felt good. Food made that hurt that I couldn't identify. It made it feel better. And the more that I ate, the better that I felt. I was a freshman in high school and I was only about 190 pounds. Now, saying that now, people are like, oh, that's not too bad. Back when I was a freshman in high school, I was made fun of relentlessly, which only added to the pain. Which, I mean, it was further trauma that I put in my little box on the shelf. Just more hurts. And the more that I hurt, the more that I ate. My freshman year in college, my freshman year in high school, though, I met a boy. And I started dating him. Our relationship was very abusive, but I didn't care, but it felt good. I'm not quite sure how to put that. In a 4-year relationship, I gained over 100 pounds. And I had no idea why. He never said anything. I never even realized it. And one day I woke up and I was 300 pounds. Now I'm 320 pounds. I've had 2 children. I have kind of, the anxiety of being heavy is always in the back of my mind, but I haven't been able to successfully do anything about it. I do yoga. I go to the gym. I lift weights. I worked out with a personal trainer for quite some time. I am not new to working out. I enjoy working out. I love listening to my body. And it's because of listening to my body that I realized that I have a problem, that I cannot maintain this weight for much longer and remain medically free of any issues. It's just not going to happen. So now comes the time to face my childhood trauma. Now comes the time to deal with it. Just like an addict to alcohol, I have to remove the offending substance to stop the numbing of the emotions, to stop the pain, and to start feeling all that hurt and all that anger and all that abandonment and powerlessness that I felt. Part of eating food is control. Also, eating disorders like binge eating, binging and purging, anorexia. These are all disorders that have to do with control. You are trying to control something. So I tried to control through eating food. I was powerless when I was taken advantage of sexually, and I never wanted to feel that way again. And so that's a part of the reason for choosing food. That's a part of the reason they say, some people think that you get big so that no one could harm you again. It's all of this subconscious craziness. I mean, the human brain is amazing, isn't it? That I would choose to be large to protect myself, and in nature, hell, that would work, right? Like, it would work. But we have evolved beyond that, and I no longer need to be large to protect myself. I don't need to eat food eating food isn't going to heal wounds. So my plan is to begin the healing process. My plan is I have for the last 4 days given up my trigger foods, given up those foods that I find myself physically addicted to, and for permanent, forever. This is not a momentary thing. It's not something I'm going to go back to once the healing I figure is done. I'm an addict, and like an alcoholic or a drug addict, I will be an addict forever. So I have said my mournful goodbye. Every day I have to say goodbye, and it sucks so much. Sugar made me happy. When I think treats and sweets, I think happiness. So that in itself should tell you that there's something wrong there. Anyway, my plan is to seek therapy, to get help, and to actually walk through a 12-step program. So I will be walking through a 12-step program with you guys that specifically pertains to food addiction. There's not a lot out there. There's Overeaters Anonymous. I have gone to some meetings, but they were more diet-oriented, and it wasn't quite what I was looking for. I am looking to approach food addiction like you would approach alcohol, like you would approach heroin. I am looking to abstain from my trigger foods and to leave them in my past and to separate myself from them. I'm looking to walk through those 12 steps and find healing and find recovery, to feel again, to feel that hurt and feel that pain, to move on, to better myself, to regain, the first step in a 12-step program is admitting that you're powerless. Now, the catch with childhood sexual trauma is that when you find healing there, you have to find your power. So one side, I am admitting that I am powerless against food, and that I am powerless against my addiction. And on the other side, I need to find my power and rise up and realize that I deserve to be safe, and I can make myself safe, and not by being huge, and realize that I deserve to set boundaries, and I can set boundaries and hold them to protect myself. And all these things I'm sure I'll be learning more and more, and I'll be sharing with you. I mean, if you guys stick around for the process, I would love it. Anyway, I have been talking forever, so yeah, that, if this rings true for you, hit me up. You can email me at thefoodaddictspeaks@gmail.com. You can visit my Tumblr site and send me fan mail or asks, and I will be sure to respond to them. What I'm looking for is support. I'm looking for like-minded individuals who maybe want to walk this road with me, or who know someone that is struggling the same way that I am. Regardless, this is something that nobody really speaks about. This is something that I have had to dig through the muck to find information about, and I am done with that. I want to put out there tools that you can use as a food addict, and even if it's not so much food addiction, as someone who has an unhealthy relationship with food, be it overeating or undereating, you can still gain from this. This is still for you. We can still walk through these things together. You will find bits of healing as we go through this process together. You will learn more about yourself. My goal through this process is mindful awareness and conscious living, to change how I interact with the world around me, to change how I interact with food, and to find myself again and to be whole. And I hope that you join me for this journey, and I hope that we can do this together. So I am looking for support, and I am looking for strength in numbers. So definitely let me know what you think. If you have questions, ask them and I will answer them, be it here, be it Tumblr, be it via email. You bet. I am here for you just as much as you're here for me. So let's do this shit, shall we? Hey, I'm back. I just wanted to take an opportunity to show you my full body, just to show you that I am big, but I am beautiful, and I love what this body has done for me, but I'm excited to see the change. If you want to follow the change, come see me at the-food-addict-speaks.tumblr.com, or comment here, or email me at thefoodaddictspeaks@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you and share the journey. Bye, guys.